God freaking damn it. I really, really wish stuff like this would stop happening. I would much, much rather talk about fun, exciting stuff in video games than talk about terrible stories surrounding the gaming industry, but I'm going to because I want things to change. Here's the recap. An artist by the handle of Antireal, which I hope I'm not mispronouncing, posted on social media that artistic assets used in Marathon's latest alpha are actually lifted from poster designs that she made back in 2017. She made a few posters with many designs and patterns that can very clearly be seen on multiple structures within the Marathon alpha. There's also clear signs that many of the symbols from Marathon's recent ARG were directly taken from Antireal's art, again dating back several years. The problem, of course, is that Antireal never gave their permission for any of her art to be used. This is just a tremendously disappointing scenario to watch unfold, because we've been here before. There have been other instances where, due to one reason or another, individual artists have had their work used without permission. In late spring of 2023, an artist by the name of Julian Faylona, aka Element J21, realized that Bungie had essentially used one of their works for art in an in-game cutscene in D2. Bungie soon came out and clarified that an external vendor who helped make the cutscene apparently used this art as reference, assuming that it was official Bungie art. Bungie reached out to the original artist after the fiasco and rightfully compensated them for their work. In fall of 2024, an artist with the handle of Tofu Rabbit realized that the design for the Nerf Ace of Spades gun was directly lifted off a commission they did in 2015. Bungie did follow up and mention they investigated with their partners at Nerf and were in contact with the artist to make sure that they were properly compensated. Tofu Rabbit did confirm in follow-up posting that Bungie was both polite and encouraging in the DMs and basically straightened the entire situation out, which, okay, I'm glad the OG artist got A, recognized, and B, paid, but it really does beg the question, how exactly does stuff like this keep happening in the first place? If it's obvious that the work has been lifted, is there a guilty party, and what happened to them afterwards? The only follow-up I was able to find regarding the Nerf Ace situation was one particular tweet from Tofu Rabbit that mentioned this was contracted people lifting some obscure work I did. Bringing it back to the current situation, the Marathon dev team responded on social media last night with the following. We immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in-game. This issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how this oversight occurred. We take matters like this very seriously. We have reached out to Antireal to discuss the issue and are committed to do right by the artist. As a matter of policy, we do not use the work of artists without their permission. To prevent similar issues in the future, we are conducting a thorough review of our in-game assets, specifically those done by former Bungie artists, and implementing stricter checks to document all artist contributions. We value the creativity and dedication of all artists who contribute to our games, and we are committed to doing right by them. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I have several thoughts. While I'm glad they've reached out to Antireal to try and correct this situation and do right by the artist, I also really want a follow-up, obviously from Antireal, to ensure that she's being compensated and credited in-game for her work appropriately, but I also 100% want to follow up on whoever this former artist is. It's incredibly frustrating from somebody on the outside looking in that the responsible party here is some nameless, faceless thief who apparently is just totally gonna get away with it with no repercussions at all because they're a former employee. That doesn't sit right with me. This person tried to lift work from an unemployed but very talented artist. There has to be some kind of repercussion for this individual in addition to compensation for Antireal. And aside from that, the bigger problem, we need more checks and balances in the industry to prevent this from happening. This is really, really embarrassing and not a good look. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I've never worked in the gaming industry, so I can't speak from any kind of experienced viewpoint, but there has to be a way to prevent this from happening in the future. If some nameless Joe Blow really did yoink all this work, then put it into the game as his own, shouldn't that result in some kind of legal action against that guy? He's essentially created a PR nightmare shitstorm, and as far as I'm aware, will receive basically no punishment at all. Obviously, I shouldn't really have to justify being upset at plagiarism, but I find this extra frustrating frustrating because my wife is an illustrator, and holy lord, the amount of stories I hear constantly about the bizarre hells that unfold in the world of professional art, it's enough to make your goddamn head spin. Don't even get me started on AI art. I will literally start vomiting blood all over my way too big mouse pad. Credit Antireal, pay Antireal, and then ask her if she wants to take further action against that former artist, whoever that guy is. I'm very clearly not a lawyer, but he shouldn't be allowed to just keep being a thief in the industry, scot-free. I don't know, I'm just talking right now. I don't like art theft. It is bad. It is, the artists have it, they have it bad. That's all I have to say right now. Figure it out, get it sorted. You can't keep doing this. Thank you very much for watching. Support your local artists. See you next time.